Welcome to First Take Math, and my name is Brian Thomas, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the area of a rectangle. Most of us are familiar with the rectangle. We know it's a four-sided shape. We know that opposite sides are equal. We also know that it has four right angles in it. When we get into area, just to define area for us, area of a rectangle is how many square units are inside the rectangle. So it's very important to pick up that the area is actually the inside space. And that inside space has to be divided into squares. So if I have a 3-inch by 5-inch rectangle, what I have to do is divide it into squares. And if it's 3 inches high, I can create 3 squares tall. If it's 5 inches wide, I can create it as 5 squares long. Now, the area is going to be how many squares are inside there. And that area can be counted a few ways. If you're going this direction, you should see it's going to be 5 plus 5 plus 5. Or, if you're going this direction, it's going to be 3 squares plus 3 squares plus 3 squares plus 3 squares plus 3 more squares. What we've also learned is, since the area of a rectangle can be determined by repeated addition, we've also learned that this can be modeled by multiplication. So when I see that 5 plus 5 plus 5, we've learned that that really is the same thing as 5 times 3. So as a shortcut, you probably recall there's a formula for all this. But don't forget what area actually is. It's the number of squares inside the rectangle. And how we get that, I literally have to count them, or we have shortcuts. And our shortcut, as we kind of pick up on, is the area of a rectangle can be defined by simply length times width. A lot of times you'll see it written algebraically like this. A standing for area, a capital A standing for area, and then an L and a W next to each other like that is going to imply that you multiply those two sides. So in this example here, if I have 50 feet by 200 feet, it's very hard to draw 50 squares tall and 200 squares across. I wouldn't want to draw that image. But I've learned that all I really got to do is just multiply 50 times 200. And we've learned also that each 0 means you're multiplying by 10. So I can write this as 5 times 2 times 10 times 10 times 10. Or 5 times 2 would be 10. And each multiplying by 10 means add 3 more zeros. So answer would be 10,000. Now, the unit of measurement would be then, since I'm talking about feet, I can write that as square feet. I can also abbreviate that as SQFT, or we also can use the notation F2 with a raised 2. So all three of these mean square feet. So keep that denotation there. And then like over here, don't forget this problem that this 15 actually represents 15 square inches. Okay. So that's going to conclude our lesson on the area of a rectangle.